Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Face2Face conference. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Megan. I use she, her pronouns, and I am a Chinese American person with medium dark brown hair and glasses, and I'm wearing a black sweater. I am also the conference coordinator for the New York City Arts and Education Roundtable. The Roundtable is a grassroots service organization working to improve and advance the state of arts education through professional development workshops, advocacy, and online resources and platforms to connect the arts education field. Although we are currently meeting via an online platform, the Roundtable would like to acknowledge that we work and live on stolen land. The place that we call New York City exists on the traditional, ancestral, and unceded land of the Canarsie, Lenape, Munsee, and Wapinger people. We'd like to give a moment of respect to them, as well as to the Black and immigrant communities which have helped build the city we know today. As we travel in their footsteps, we recognize that all of our pasts, presents, and futures are intertwined. Thank you. I just wanted to share a few reminders. If you are having trouble with Zoom, please send me or program manager Kinsey Keck a private message. You can also refer to our Zoom one sheet, which will be pasted in the chat. Please keep your mic setting on mute unless you are the person speaking. We encourage you to use the chat box to ask questions, share resources, and connect with other participants. Resources shared in the chat box transcript will be saved and shared in a follow-up email in the upcoming days. This call includes closed captioning in the main room. To activate this setting, please click the live transcript button on your toolbar and select Show Subtitles. This session is being recorded and will be made available on the Roundtable's website, YouTube, and Vimeo channels. We are grateful to the generosity of our conference sponsors, Disney National Dance Institute, the New York City Department of Cultural Affairs, and the New York State Council of the Arts. Without further ado, I would like to turn it over to our facilitator today. Bernadette Pleasant is creator of the Emotional Institute, and she holds and conducts grief rituals. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Megan. What an absolute honor and pleasure it is to be here today. Thank you for coming. Thank you for being here. Thank you for carving out the time to be here, making this shared experience, creating this together. That's what we'll do. I get to share on this beautiful topic, this sacred topic of grief. I honor this space and this time and the vulnerability of our heart space. I want you all to feel welcome. I invite you to close your eyes or just lower them to just feel, breathe into your bodies and just hear the words, I welcome you here. I welcome every part of you here. I welcome the sad parts, the confused, the joyous, the proud, all welcome here. I welcome your breath, whether you are able to fully breathe in and slowly exhale, or whether your breaths are short, constricted. I welcome them here. I welcome your pronouns, all of them. I welcome your skin, wrinkled, taut, and every hue of it. It's welcomed here. I welcome your bones and your flesh. I invite you into this time to look at this space, this thing that lives in our bodies sometimes, called grief. The way I look at grief is as a bit of a ring of fire that we need to pass through to get to life on the other side. knowing that grief is love with nowhere to go. And it is my desire that when we grieve, when we make time for it, when we learn to not dress it up and say we're fine, when we're willing to just be compassionate with ourselves and to make that time, that sacred space, to honor it, that we do so courageously and with some tools. And that's what we'll do here today. So I welcome all parts of you here. When we enter this space, I invite you to just think about people, ancestors, someone who you loved or held, someone who helped create your being here, or just someone you know that may not have had a space to grieve. And I want you to know that as we create this container, we actually do it very ritualistically. We create a ritual of grieving. So I'd like to invite your loved ones, people you've known, heard of, who are no longer here in the flesh, who you can invite here. We're going to invite any ancestors or people known that we'd like to bring in. And I want you to just really imagine inviting them in. Come with me to this safe space. Let's do it together. I invite you to reach in and hit unmute. And we're going to say their names all together in unison. We'll just pour in the names of those who we'd like to honor. And as that comes to an end, I'll just start to ring some chimes so that we can wind down. But let's bring them in with us here. I'll chime so that we start, and then I'll chime when we start to bring it to a close. So feel free to unmute and pour in the names.
Laura, Edie,
Juventine,
George,
Megan,
Lucy Chin,
Jeremy Grover,
Midwin,
Laura,
Hazel Chung,
Elena,
Andrew Parker, Geneva
Sharon
Parker,
DeBosse,
Span.
Albert,
Barry Martin,
Carl,
Jemaya, Emil,
Cousin Bobby,
versus mother.
Thank you. In addition to the names that we called in, that we are putting on our altar, if you will, we are going to bring in some elemental allies here. For this particular ritual, I will light this candle. It will remain burning through our time together, and we'll blow it out and thank it at the end. But we want to thank fire. Fire for transmuting. Fire for helping to clean away that which we're ready to shed. We want to thank fire and allow it to burn and cleanse during our time here. Grieving. We want to thank water. Often when we grieve, people think of tears. And that is one way to grieve. For some, it'll be movement or journaling or getting quiet, praying, resting, meditating, going for a walk. Whatever it is, what we want to do is carve out and create the sacredness of this space, allowing for this time. And whether you are able to pour tears or just know that water is honored here, your tears are honored here. And I will return this bowl, this water, for this container that we are creating together to the earth following this ritual. Allow this water to hold you and for you to pour in. It helps to absorb what we are sharing and experiencing here. So this thing called grieving. In our culture, in many cultures, there's no context for it, no example of what a healthy way of grieving looks like. For many, there's a propensity to hold in, to cover up, to hide, not to reveal for so many reasons. And partly because it just isn't shared and discussed. Sobonfu Somé of Burkina Faso in West Africa came to the United States and was in California years ago. She's passed now. But she came from a tribe of people who always had a grief ritual going on, and these were joyous people. They just acknowledged that sometimes there's grief. Oftentimes there's grief. And when she came here, she asked this simple question: what do you do when you're grieving here? I see no avenues, no resources for this. And can you imagine being asked that question? How do you deal with grief? I would imagine people told her, hide that shit, put it away, do something, medicate it, do something, but do something to it. Don't allow for it. Her response after she heard many reactions, it was, well, that explains a lot. I often it's so telling. So what I desire to do, and what I'm so grateful for, is this opportunity to share about grief so openly because we all experience it. Francis Weller, in his book, The Wild Edge of Grief, speaks to the 5 gateways. He penned the 5 gateways of grief. And these gateways really help those who need to understand grief to give it a name. Because when we name something, we can then begin to look at it and to heal it. The gateways of grief, in no particular order, but as I'm going to mention them here. The first, and the one that is often recognized, we all know it because we've all said, I'm sorry for your loss. That first gateway is what we will lose, what we love, we will lose. Whether that's a home, a job, a pet, a house, our freedom, whatever it is, it's the knowing that there's something that we love and appreciate that we may lose. We know that grief. We know that. It's the other gateways of grief that I want you to just feel into. I see myself in that. That explains it. Just let's take a look. Another gateway of grief is what we expected and did not receive. This could be many things. The benefit of the doubt. What we expected and didn't receive. Being celebrated. Being loved, having it returned. These things, that's another gateway of grief. Ancestral grief, that's the grief you inherit. That's the grief that is passed from mother to child. The grief that your mom may have felt, whatever was going on in her life and generations back, how that gets sort of embedded in the cells, passed from mother to child. So you inherit that, those fears, those concerns, those worries, those lessons, those untruths, whatever it is, but they're there. Another is places that have not known love in us. Your sexuality, your creativity, your ideas, your dreams. These are things that go unexpressed, unappreciated, and that there is a grieving for that. You may understand why you opted to do this profession rather than the dream one, but there's a grieving in there for not having expressed that. And lastly, there is sorrow for the world, a grieving for the world. This is the grieving that looks at huge issues and can't figure out how we can take a bite out of it, or literally, how can I impact that thing in a meaningful way? Or how have I added to that issue? Something like racism, global warming, a pandemic. Like, how can I affect that? How can I be with this big thing? The weight of it, feeling that. So these are different gateways of grief. And the reason why I share the gateways is kind of helps to put what one might be feeling into a category, give it a name, and how important it is to do that. So I want to share in this moment, and what we are grieving changes. It changes so often. It changes daily, hourly. What I'm grieving in this moment. And I'll give by example, and then just like we invited those ancestors in, I am going to invite you to unmute and just ask the simple question, what's on your heart right now? What are you grieving? And we'll pour it in. The reason for these things is oftentimes we're feeling something that we don't give expression to. It gets caught right here. And it doesn't go away because we didn't express it. What it can do is linger and linger and linger. One of the ways we heal is by being witnessed. We won't call on people individually to witness, but to just be born witness to the collaborative voice of hearing and sounding, speaking to, giving voice to whatever it is that's on our hearts. In this moment, I am grieving. I'm grieving that the weight of this pandemic lingers. The distrust and feeling around vaccines, should I, shouldn't I, the longing to get back out amongst people, to touch people. I'm grieving my 3 brown, beautiful grandsons and what their experience is in the world as Black men in America. I am grieving a trial for Chauvin right now that just goes on and on and on. That this kind of thing, this knee on the neck of Black and brown people, I am grieving that people don't know how to grieve and therefore act out in anger and violence. I grieve that. Woo!
Bernadette.
Okay, yeah. So what I'm going to invite you in this moment, and we're going to do it ceremonially, just like we did bringing our ancestors in a moment ago. I'm going to invite you to unmute, and I'm going to ring, and I'm going to invite you, what are you grieving? And we'll just allow that to pour in all together as community. And after a set period of time, you'll hear me start to do a few of these dings, 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 and that just means let's wind this down. But thanking you in advance for doing the self-care needed to get that out so that it does not start to deteriorate and break down your spirit and your body any longer. I invite you to unmute to the sound, welcoming what you are grieving, and I invite you to all pour it in now.
I'm grieving
I am
African American
grieving
soldiers.
the
loss of
community,
community,
The loss of
grieving
community,
Mother
shame,
Teresa
invisible
sadness,
fear of loss of safety,
unwilling to suffer flesh
people who are essential
and growth
feel not
to be
valued.
genuine.
clarity
I'm
of
grieving that
Grieving
people
purpose,
feel that there still is a time and
life
place to
for this
dedicate
people
to
of color
themselves.
to find their place, to find
Grieving that
peace,
people
to find
feel
safety.
that things are
I'm
not going to
grieving
ever
hopelessness
be
as I
different.
work with elders and my
everything
leaders.
changing.
I'm
I
grieving the
grieve because people
my
think that we
family.
always have to be strong,
Parents don't have the strength to
People that
vulnerable.
start. I'm grieving.
I'm grieving because I need to grieve.
Thank you for your voices. Thank you for your courage. Thank you for what we are co-creating here, the power of it. It's beautiful. It's needed. It's healing. Grieving impacts our bodies. I invite you in this moment to just feel, just reach your hands out and just invite healing energy into your hands. I invite you to lower or close your eyes and imagine gold globes landing softly on your palms, like water balloons. Just feel that buoyant, warm water there. I invite you to pour in breath. You can breathe. You are here. I invite you to take those breaths in and let them out audibly. Allow them to be full. Breathe in this medicine of healing through being witness, whether you are on camera or not. It is perfect. But be here, be fully here as we go in on this here. I invite you to start to consider your hands, your warm, healing hands, and your body, which feels so much weight. Feel the caress as you start to bring hands onto body. We are going to warm the body. We're going to warm the body with movement, with rocking, with gentle care. The body doesn't lie, the body feels and shields. I'm going to invite you to start to move your hands around your body and place them warmly everywhere you can touch. To feel the warmth of your hand, the pressure, apply pressure, and start to pat and then smear as I'm going to bring a sound in. Bringing this sound in, we are going to start to move the body because grief has a way of wanting to get stuck in the body. Excuse me, one moment. I need to make sure this thing is playing properly. Turn that on. Excuse me. Keep those hands moving about. Keep those hands moving about and breathing. Breathing, breathing, breathing. I am safe. I am here. I am safe. I am here. I am safe. I am here. We're going to wake this body up. I know often on Zoom calls, you're just sitting there with your notes and pads, and that's perfect. We'll use them later. Push that aside right now. What I invite you to do, if you can let your hair down or just run your fingers through your scalp, maybe pinch your earlobes, waking up. Allow your fingertips to tap on your face, on your eyelids. Waking up by tapping all over, feeling the tingle that comes from waking up the meridians, the tapping. Scratching the head is a great way.
Like waves to the shore, heart of the ocean.
I'm going to invite you to start to move like the ocean, the waves, in slow motion.
Part of the sky.
Imagine your body just rolling and floating.
Now I drift to you. I dream of a river,
rolling through the wrist, the elbows,
of water so blue,
the shoulders, the heart.
Wish I could live.
If you are sitting, consider standing. It's perfect. Give your body what it needs. Be generous.
Wish you
Breathe in through your feet. Feel your entire body fill up with oxygen and push it out like a wave.
The air that I breathe, you'll always be there.
I'm going to join you in movement. Let's move together.
When I wanna fly,
take up great amounts of space.
I dream of a river, of water so blue. Wish I could live.
Take a walk around your space, touching the air. Dance with those ancestors you called in. I invite you to make some kind of sound, a hum. Make this hissing sound of a snake, the healing sound of a snake.
The stars high above, part of the sky. Logic to you.
Waking up your
I
hips,
dream of a river,
your spine,
of water so blue. Wish I could live there. Wish you were real.
allow those hands to come onto body,
Wish you were real.
showing gratitude with every touch.
Wish you were real.
And I invite you in your body's own way, taking a long time to bring yourself back here, but take your time. You just
wish you were real.
breathing your way back here.
Wish you were real. Wish you.
Thank you so much for moving your bodies, for coming here. I want you to consider, before we go into what is called Grief Study Hall, I want you to just consider, and we're going to do some visualization here. I invite you to open your arms up as if receiving a beautiful hug, a hug that welcomes every part of you, a hug that feels so inviting. Yeah, gorgeous. And then we're going to melt those arms as if we were cradling a baby. As if you were cradling a baby. And now I want you to begin to rock this sleeping baby like a newborn baby. How gentle and slow you would move so as not to wake that beautiful resting baby. In your mind's eye or in physical eye, if you care to open, take a look. We all know the preciousness of this moment, this time, the baby sleeping. We all know that we would never shake the baby awake. Nap over, we're not doing that. We know how compassionate we would be with this sweet moment. And if someone, imagine someone were approaching, you know how you might get their attention? How would you get their attention to say, shh, baby's sleeping? We know how no, this baby is sleeping. I invite you to close your eyes and continue to rock that beautiful, beautiful resting baby. Breathe in the moment, relax your entire body as you would. Slowly casting your eyes onto this moment, realize that this baby that you are rocking is your heart. It is your heart when it is grieving. My desire is that that rocking never stops, that you are gentle and protective and loving as you would be with a newborn baby who's sleeping in your arms. Give it all the time it needs. That resting baby nor your heart moves on our short timelines. Give it all the time it needs. Give it its just due. Not only are you creating the space, but you're not afraid to say, hey, the baby's resting. Do that with your heart. It's okay to be honest, to say, I am grieving. I'm not okay. And give it all the time it needs. In the Dagara tradition, when they are doing grief rituals, the question that is asked when someone is grieving is simple. It's, have you grieved enough? There's no judgment. So I invite you to bring that baby into your heart space and just feel the warmth of it. Feel the warmth of it. There's nothing to fix because nothing is broken. We are just allowing for and acknowledging our hearts in whatever condition it is in. So what we're going to do now to give this focused attention on what you are grieving is we are going to enter what I call grief study hall. I'm going to play music, and I invite you to do whatever you want. I invite you to roll on the floor, to move, to cry, to journal, to pace your space, stay on camera, go off camera, to rest, meditate, pray, whatever your body is, and ask yourself often, what do I need now? And change it up if you need something different. Some people like to stretch and roll slowly on the floor. What do I need now? Ask yourself that every few minutes. I'll ring the chimes to begin. I'll ring the chimes when we are ending. But I invite you to Grief Study Hall. I am holding sacred space for you. breath. Feel my hand at the back of your heart, just offering loving support. Notice if you are holding anywhere and just know that there's power, so much power and courage in surrender. Ask your body what it needs now. Is there a sound or a movement that grief wants, that it begs of you? What part of your body feels this grief? Allow that body part to have some movement, or is it a color that lives in your body? Get really curious about what you're feeling, what's happening in your body. Is there a touch you can offer yourself? Can you imagine yourself being rocked like that baby? Can you imagine being held so tenderly? Surrender to that place. And if you need to rock the baby to remember or to imagine being held so, please do so. Yes, gorgeous. have 60 more seconds. Just feel and surrender even more. Can you move even slower? Holding on to the gentleness of where you are right now. Just hold on right there. I invite you to do a body scan, allowing your hands, if that's possible, to move from the tops of your head in such a melting, thick, luxurious way. Noticing every single curve as if experiencing it new. Notice every glorious hill and divine valley that makes up this incredible wonderland that is you. The very fact, just hear the words behind closed eyes, just allow me to rock you, if you will, to acknowledge you, to see you, to hold you in this space. Every single thing that you feel is justified. It's welcome here. The heaviness, the weight, being torn, the doubting, the knowing. It's all welcome here in this space. The parts that we're able to surrender and the parts that just can't go there yet. It's all welcome here. It's all perfect. I invite you to take in deep, slow breaths and let them out. Allow them to fill you up. Hold at the top and let it out. We're going to do that. I invite you to unmute if possible, to come in and invite your breaths in. We don't have to do it all together, to just get a cacophony of breaths. Inhaling, exhaling, pulling in, pushing out. I invite you to pour your sound, your breath, your voice matters here. I invite you to do so because you can. to simply reach in, take a deep breath in, push it out, and do it over and over and over again so that there is sound. Let your voices be heard. Allow it to feel primal. I invite you to hold your body to rub off what does not serve, that you are done with. Sloughing it off. Sloughing it off with gratitude in your body for feeling, for being. Yes. I invite you to put the balls of your feet on the ground, lifting your heels high and start to drop your heels, out, returning to the earth. Yes, 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 yes. Returning to mute if need be, I invite you to open your arms again, but do so in slow motion as I give you this visual hugging. I want you to open up what it feels like to be seen and heard and welcomed into a space, into a home, into a container. You, every bit of you as you are, is welcome here. What does that welcome look like? Pushing your heart, opening your legs, your toes, whatever the full body welcome looks like. And I invite you to breathe in that feeling and breathe in that as you slowly, taking your time, start to engulf your beautiful being with a warm, 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 loving embrace. One that is nurturing and filling and loving and kind. One that says, I see you. Oh, baby, I see you. I see all of you. You are safe here. Squeezing and allowing your hands to move about and offer life-giving nourishment and healing touch, welcoming, loving touch, the kind of touch that says you are perfect just as you are. Gosh, I'm so glad you're here. I'm so glad you have come home to body. I'm so glad you have welcomed in spirit, that you are here fully with breath and sound and body and ache and joy. Yes, there is joy. There can be both. You are not simple enough to only be grieving. You can be grieving and confident, grieving and angry, grieving and joyous, grieving and flirtative, grieving and sensual, grieving and sexual, grieving and complicated, because there's nothing simple about you, about me. We can be many things and held just as we are. I want to thank you. I want to thank each of you for being here, allowing your hands to stay on body. They help to ground and connect us. Thank you for being expressive. Thank you for sharing your tears in this time. Thank you for the community that created this space, that gave me this opportunity to be here. And thank you all for your precious time, for helping to create this. Keeping those hands moving. I invite you to consider some ideas for aftercare. Maybe you want to hug yourself more intentionally today. After expressing this emotion, maybe your body needs to rest. Maybe you need to go for a slow walk. Eat something nourishing. Maybe you want a piece of chocolate. Maybe you want to share with a friend, hey, I did this thing today. This is what came up for me. Maybe you want to journal. Maybe you want to go put your feet on the earth. Maybe as someone approaches you today, or some piece of social media or something that doesn't feel soothing, maybe you need to say, shh, not now. The baby, my heart needs rest. Maybe you need to say no to someone. I am unavailable for that. I need to take care of my spirit today. Whatever it is, may you pour in self-care. May you run the bath. May you put in the right ingredients that will soothe you. May you go the extra step. May you ask yourself, what do I need in this moment? May you pour that in generously, gloriously, the way you would that resting baby, giving it whatever it needs. Maybe you need to slow down or dance. Maybe you need to sing. Maybe you just need to be still. Whatever it is, it's a righteous act of self-care. And I invite you to pour in. And when you forget, because you will, I want you to remember, am I rocking? Am I cradling myself as I would a newborn, resting baby? Do I need to listen to a song right now? Do I need to take up space? Do I need to move slowly? Do I need to ask for help or get witnessed? Whatever it is, may you pour in to overflow. Because you are deserving and worthy. You're worth it. I invite you in your mind's eye, just taking a look around your space. I want you to thank those ancestors. We say thank you, we say thank you, we say thank you. And if you can unmute, we just want to pour in the sound of gratitude, just saying thank you over and over.
Thank you.
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 The elements,
Thank you.
fire that held this space for us, we want to say thank you as I blow out these candles.
Thank you.
you.
Thank 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 you for
Thank
this
you so
offering.
much.
Thank you.
With
you.
gratitude.
To the water.
Thank you.
You.
Held our tears in this space. We want to say
Thank you for this blessing.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Thank
this
you.
sacred
With the
offering.
deepest
Thank
gratitude.
you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
To those who put
Thank you.
together such powerful
Thank you, Megan.
leadership that could call
Thank
in
you,
medicine,
ancestors.
we say thank you.
Thank you.
Face to
Thank
face,
you.
we thank you. We thank you. To the ASL interpreters, we say thank you. Thank you for your hands and hearts. We say
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much. Yes,
Thank
thank
you.
Thank you, and Ashe. Thank you.
to one another
Thank
who
you.
showed up to create this container, because we don't do this alone. We say thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
Thank
you.
you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank
Infinite
you.
blessings. Thank you.
Thank you, Bernadette.
Oh, thank
Deepest gratitude.
Thank you, Bernadette.
Thank you, Bernadette.
Bernadette.
Ashe.
And what I want to do right now, and I'm going to tell you how this is going to end just now. I thank each of you. Thank you for being here. We have a few more minutes, and I want to use it beautifully, richly, and wisely. For a few moments, I like to consider every event, every opportunity that I get to share. I want to view it as a meal. We are imbibing something. We are having an experience. We get to eat this meal, whether we are nibbling or taking it all in or smelling it, whatever it is. The way we digest, just like with any meal, the way I like to digest is to get a few snapshots. What did you experience? We're not going to go into storyline, but if there's a quick share of something you appreciated, a moment in this experience or what it was for you, if we can keep comments short, I'd love to call on to a few of you just to hear your digestible bit. And then we're going to close with celebration, because that's how we do it. Grief opens a way for new life, new opportunity, new hope, new love, new spaces. But before we get there, I'd love if anybody would like to raise a hand and just share something they experienced, something they're appreciative about, something that came up. I'd love to hear your voice. I welcome it. I don't know how hands are raised on this, so however that is, do so.
I see. Yes, Marilyn. Marilyn?
Hi, Marilyn.
Yes. Hi.
Hi.
I really appreciated that. Like, I lost the feeling of feeling bad about how I felt. Like, I just got into it and I feel no shame. And I just embrace how I feel now.
Yes. Thank you, Marilyn. Thank you so much. Does anyone else care to share?
I see Nara's hand.
Hi, thank you for this beautiful ritual. I thought the emphasis on grief being communal was really powerful today. And so thank you for that. I am used to that experience with sitting Shiva in Judaism, but not necessarily on Zoom. So thank you. And also for the introduction to the author. I am going to buy that book.
Yes, Francis Weller. Good Lord, I can't think of the name of it right now. I say it all the time. Francis Weller's, what is it?
The Sorrow of Grief or something of grief?
Yes, the Wild Edge of Grief. The
Right.
Wild Edge of Grief. Yes, wonderful. It's a great book.
Thank you for sharing.
Thanks, Mara.
I believe I saw Rowan. Your hand go up.
I just appreciate all of these and having a safe space to let my feelings out and know that it's okay and I'm not a freak because I'm still grieving, and to move to the best of my ability. And Bernadette, I just love everything that I've done with you. And to the ASL interpreter, thank you. And Bernadette, many blessings. And everyone else here too.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much. Good seeing you. You are not a freak. We have learned in our culture that there is something wrong with grieving. There is not. There's something wrong with not grieving. In order to not grieve, we have to deaden some part of ourselves, not to be awake to that thing. May you never do that.
Thank you.
Thank you. I see Tasha's hand here, but I'm not sure if you see others, so yes, please.
This will be very brief. I want to just give the utmost gratitude to you, Bernadette, for your dedication to this conversation. I will definitely take with me the cradling of the heart for sure. Usually in the morning, I do take a time to listen to my heartbeat, and I didn't do that today. And so this moment gave me an opportunity to hear myself, and that lifeline pulsing through my body. And I also just want to mention, I put the resource in the chat. There's another artist by the name of Precious Okoyomon, who also created a space for us to mourn and deal with the feelings. Like you said, we don't deal with them, something else dies. So if anyone is near the New York City area, you're more than welcome. And I'll be there Sundays from 12 to 6. So let us share space, more space to deal with our mourning and our grieving. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks, Tasha. Yes. Once every 6 weeks, I do a grief ritual. And on my website, there's a grief ritual guidebook. I work with people one-on-one. This grieving is important work. And may it be spread, and may more people be doing it. May you do it in your individual lives, and not in hiding, but in community. There is something about that. Thank you. All right. As we are coming to a close, if there aren't any more shares, grieving opens up for more space. Something that is needed, deeply, deeply, deeply needed in the world is unity. A unifying element, unifying movement. There's a song that means unity, breaking barriers and walls and divides. And the way I close out my grief rituals is in celebration. And I'm going to invite you to create a space, moving things that need to move out the way, whether you need to kick off some shoes, some socks, need to move something so that you can move a full body. I want to ask this question before I do this song. Is there a closing that you do? Because I hit this song and I usually get out of here, but I don't know. I want to check in.
We do have just a couple of announcements, so maybe we should do those first.
How about we do that, and then we can
Yeah.
Thank
All
you.
right. Megan, do you want to go ahead?
Thank you so much, Bernadette, for a wonderful session. We just have a few announcements before we head out for the evening. Please join us on Thursday at 10 a.m. for our next session. It is Insights from the Field, Centering Disability Identity for Students of the Arts with Disabilities. I'd also like to do a quick plug for a session poll that you should see on your screen right now. It just gives us feedback on how you enjoyed the session. As well as I'd like to plug the Black Women's Wellness Retreat. I think Kinsey will place a link in the chat for you. It is a wellness retreat on June 11th to June 13th for Black women, and it is applications and nominations will be open April 14th. So please look at the website, nominate, and apply. And those are the only announcements we have. So Bernadette, I will turn it back to you.
Okay. Thank you so much. I'm glad I asked to know that's how important that is. I am so enjoying being a part of this. I want to thank you for this sacred time that we got to share together, that we got to create. Often when people think of coming to a grief ritual, they don't think of ending in celebration, and that is not how it is done in any way that I have learned about grief, and that is not how my body wants to go out. So I invite you, like I said, create that space, move your body. Maybe you want to stand, or maybe you want to slowly get there. Whatever it is, what we're going to do is listen to this song, steeped in unifying, steeped in joy, steeped in celebration. I want you to connect with breath and feel your feet on the earth, opening up earth energy, welcoming in those ancestors to come and play and dance with us, welcoming the element and moving like fire and like water and just saying thank you. This movement is about gratitude. This movement is about celebrating the thank you. I want you to start to move before you even hear it, knowing it is coming. I want you to start to move in whatever joy looks like and feels like in your body. I want you to start to say yes and thank you, take up space, unmute, make noise, whatever feels good to you. I want you to do a lot of that. The name of the song is Jerusalem. Allow yourself to take up space with your yes and your no, your confidence, moving all parts of your body.
Jerusalem, ikayalami, ilondoloze, uhambe nami, zungangishilana. Jerusalem, ikayalami, ilondoloze, uhambe nami, zungangishilana. Dawo yami ayikholana, buso wami awukholana, ilondoloze, zuhambe nami.
Dance your smile,
dawo yami ayikholana,
your wrists,
buso wami awukholana,
the back of your heart.
Ilondoloze, zuhambe nami. Ilondoloze, 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 zungangishilana. Ilondoloze, 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 zungangishilana.
What does freedom dance like? What does life and opportunity move like? How does acceptance move and take up space?
Dawo yami ayikholana, buso wami awukholana, ilondoloze, zuhambe nami.
I invite you to shout yes over and over. And I am a alive. Come off.
Yes, I am alive.
Yes.
I'm alive.
Yes, I'm alive.
Yes.
Woo!
Thank you so much. Thank you for joining. Thank you for being here. I say thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Bernadette.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Queen. Thank you, everyone.
So much. Thank you. Thank you.
I'm alive.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Love
Thank
you.
you. Yes, yes,
I am
yes.
alive.
Blessings, blessings.